In Word, you can change the appearance of the document quite simply by selecting text and changing it via the buttons on the Home ribbon bar. If we take a look at the Home ribbon bar, you've got two sections. The font here, all to do with the character styles, and then in the section next to it is called Paragraph. All of these buttons will affect an entire paragraph. These are called the direct formatting buttons. Let's see how they work. If we select, for example, the title, Chapter 1, I then want to change the size of the text. If you have a look just in the font section, there's two buttons here, a large A and a small a. If we click on the large A, you'll see that as I click, the font gets bigger and bigger. If I click on the small a next to it, it will reduce the size. You'll also notice as I click these buttons, the number to my left is also changing. If you knew the size directly, if someone asked you to make it size 48, for example, in size, you could click on this and go straight down to 48. Otherwise, you can just use these buttons to adjust the size by look. So if we adjust the size on here to say 28 in size. The other buttons you've got on the direct ribbon is the bold. I can change it to bold. There's also an italic button that I can turn on and off. You toggle these by clicking them once for on and again to turn it off. If we want to underline, we can do an underline and turn that off. As well as changing the attributes of a font, I can actually change the font style, the font face here, sometimes referred to as typeface. It tells me I've got Century Gothic at the moment, but if I click on the little drop down arrow, it will drop down all of my fonts. As I come along here, I can change it to a different font style on here. We can go through, and depending on your computer, you may have more or less fonts on offer. We can also change the colour of the text. Once again, in here you'll see there's a button which on this system is currently showing the colour red, and this will change the font colour to red. However, if red was not the colour I wanted, I could click on the little drop down next to it and it pops down a palette of colours. And you have live preview here because as you move your mouse over these coloured squares, the font will change colour. And we can choose one. Now you will notice that Word remembers the last colour you chose. You'll notice that the colour button has now changed from red to this purple, so that should I want that same shade of purple later on in this document, I can just click on the button without having to drop the palette. We can format the subtitle Boston Introduction and do some changes, maybe increase the font size, maybe make it bold. The font section is referred to as character formatting. If you want to change an entire paragraph, then you can click in a paragraph. Unlike the font, we do not have to highlight it. If it's just a single paragraph you want to change, you can click in the paragraph and you can see that my single paragraph is just that chapter 1. In the paragraph section here, we have some buttons here to do with the alignment. I can change the position of that text. At the moment, it's currently what we call aligned to the left. You'll see that the text is aligned to the left margin. If I choose center, it will center it between the margins. And if I choose the align right, it will align the text to the right of the page. Let's put that back to left. If I click in this paragraph, now remember this whole paragraph has a lot more text. We could do the same again. We could center all of that paragraph. We could make it align to the right, or we could have full justify. Now when you justify, you'll notice that it makes the left and the right margin ends nice and neat. You can also alter the indentation. As you can see, all the text here is aligned with this margin guide here. If I wanted this section here to be indented, I need to first of all select all of those lines. And the reason I'm selecting those is because they're all individual paragraphs. Once you've highlighted those, back into the paragraph section, you have two buttons here. One is called Increase Indent. Remember, if you're not sure about a button, hover your mouse over it. You will get the little bubble help come up and tell you what it does. And one called Decrease Indent. If we click on the increase, watch what happens to that highlighted text. It gets indented, nudged in. If I click again and again, it can nudge the text in, indentation. I can also click the decrease to bring it back. We can also adjust the line spacing between each paragraph and line. In the paragraph section, there's a button just here called Line and Paragraph Spacing. If I click on that, it drops this down. Now watch what happens to that highlighted range of text. As I move over these, you'll notice it's altering the spacing between each line vertically. So I may want these 1.5 line spacing. And that's your direct formatting on fonts and paragraphs.